It's Friday morning. Good morning. Thank you for joining me. My name's Al Gavada, starting a little bit later than usual. I usually do these about 8 in the morning, a little about 90 minutes late as far as that goes. But I had a couple other things going on that I want to take care of before we did today. But it is a Friday, so regardless of the fact of what time we're starting on, we are underway. Today we're talking about acting on your ambition. A great article on success.com by Jim Rohn. It's 5 years old, believe it or not. But does your ambition age? Do you have new ambitions now that you may not have had 5 years ago? Absolutely. Right? If you're on a journey of personal development, you're on a journey to change your life, to design your future, absolutely. Right? So the article starts like this: building your ambition is building your enterprising skills to consistently create new opportunity, to consistently take advantage of the opportunity you've created, to be aware, to face life with your eyes and ears open to the possibilities that might be just around the corner. Open your eyes. Self-enterprising people always see the future in the present. Self-enterprising people will always find a way to take advantage of a situation, not be burdened by it. Oh man, that's so important. That is great. That's a great line. Self-enterprising people will always find a way to take advantage of a situation. Doesn't say of everything going right. Take advantage of all things aligned. The planets are aligned. You know, it's whatever situation you're in, not being burdened by it. Enterprise is always better than ease. Every time we choose to do less than we possibly can, it affects our self confidence, our self worth. If we keep doing a little less every day, we are also being a little less. Man, that's like becoming a little less, right? If we don't feel good about ourselves, we won't feel good about our lives. And if we don't feel good about our lives, we won't be very interested in looking for opportunities. Now, don't get me wrong. You can decide to just give up, not look at any opportunities around you, before you, near you, anything. You can. But where is that going to lead you? First off, it's not going to lead you anywhere. It's going to leave you exactly where you're at. Right? So you got to feel good about your life. You can reverse this process by using your self-direction, self-reliance, and self-discipline. Notice how it's all you. It's yourself. Self-direction, self-reliance, self-discipline. You alter your course by doing a little more each day. Pretty soon you'll develop a new habit of doing rather than neglecting. Success isn't in the having, success is in the doing. It's the process of doing that brings value. It's the activity that transforms our dreams into what? Reality. It's the activity that transforms our dreams into reality, that converts ideas into actuality. Self-enterprise is found in the activity. Without activity, we'll miss the opportunity. For without activity, we'll miss the opportunity. Man, it's like cold water in my face. Some people out there would have us believe that positive affirmation, which I've talked about before, some people out there would have us believe that positive affirmation is more important than activity. Instead of doing something constructive to change our lives, they would have us repeating slogans such as every day and in every way, I'm getting better and better. And I've used that. Where is it? I have it here somewhere. Ugh. Man, I had it somewhere. Where'd it go? Anyway, so I literally had that somewhere. Every day, and in every way I'm getting better and better. However, I do also say this: above all else, take action, right? Well, getting better, the article continues, doesn't just happen from wishful thinking. Getting better only happens with the discipline of doing better. Discipline is the requirement for progress, and affirmations without discipline are, in all reality, delusions. Affirmations without discipline are delusions. Now, don't get me wrong here. There's nothing wrong with affirming the good life as long as we are disciplined enough to do what? Take action. Affirmations can be effective as long as we remember two very important rules. Ready? And you can rewind these and write them down. Two very important rules. We should never allow affirmation to replace action, activity, enterprise. Feeling better is no substitute for doing better. Number two, whatever we choose to affirm must be the truth. If the truth happens to be that we're broke, simply say, I'm broke. By admitting you're broke out loud, you'll probably be disgusted enough to start the thinking process for how to change it so you will not be broke. Isn't that the goal? Right? We're talking 6 ways to act on your ambition by Jim Rohn. Let me add I have to add the link after I'm done. So you're here. You want to change and you're ready to make the change. Follow these 6 steps to build the power of your ambition. Here we go. Number 1. If you're faced with a mental roadblock, put it down on paper. Number 1, if you're faced with a mental roadblock, put it down on paper. Remember, creativity is a first requirement for self-enterprise. When you put a problem on paper, you take the emotion out of it. With the emotion gone, you can look at the roadblock objectively. You can figure out what you did right. You can figure out what you did wrong. You can figure out how to change it. Pick a problem out of your head, pull out a piece of paper, and then draw a line down the middle. On the left-hand side, jot down the problem. On the other side, you put the solutions. And I have 3 questions that you must ask yourself to find the solutions. What can I do? There's a problem. What can I do? Number 2, what could I read? You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Do your homework and find the solution. Leaders are readers. Number 3, who could I ask? Approach them and say, I've researched this material and I'm still short. Can you help me? Oh my gosh. How many times have we said, ask for help, right? So again, if you're faced with a mental roadblock, put it down on paper. Take a paper, draw a line down the middle, left side, write down the problem, right side, write down the solutions. To find the solutions, you ask these 3 questions. What can I do? What could I read? Who could I ask? Number 1. I'm telling you, man, this article's great. Number 2, develop the ability to brainstorm. We hear this term all the time. But what is brainstorming? It's letting your brain go. It's being free from all inhibitions and objections and negatives. Just putting an idea into your brain, letting it take off. Not planning a train of thought, but thinking freely. Why is that difficult? Well, let's think about that. We all have these preconceived notions, right? We all have these experiences and life experiences, right, that have shaped us into who we are. We have all these rules and unwritten rules and rules that have been placed upon us by our family, our friends, whatever. We have a shape. We have a filter that things go through. What brainstorming does tells you to be free of all inhibitions, all objections, and negativities, and that filter. Just don't think, how would Al Guevara do this? Don't think, how would whoever you are would do. Don't think that way. Think more of a generality. How would it be done? How would we address? How would this be addressed? Not how would I address it? Not how would people expect me to address it? How should this be addressed? And think outlandishly, even if it's impossible, unrealistic. No way that's going to happen. Who cares? Write it down. You're brainstorming. You're not writing down a business plan that you're going to submit. The article continues. Effective brainstorming can only happen if you're free from your ego. Man, you can't be worried about saying something stupid or silly or totally off the wall, because your silly thought may trigger someone else's brain to take it one step further. Because you're thinking that doesn't work because that doesn't work for you. That doesn't work through the filter that you're filtering it through. But somebody else says, hey, I never thought of that. And boom. Brainstorming in a group is an experience of collective thought. It's kind of like putting a bunch of, processing units together instead of just one. An experience of developing one idea or several ideas through a variety of thought processes. A variety of thought processes, especially when the thought processes start to become complementary. It can't be effective unless everyone involved is comfortable with each other. If you don't feel comfortable within the group, you may withhold the very thought that provides the solution to the problem. And isn't that the ultimate goal? Trying to find that solution to the problem. That's on the left side of the paper. So number 2, develop the ability to brainstorm. Man, that's a good one. And again, we're going to hark back to something I said a little while ago. Number 3, imagine outlandish solutions. This is really an extension of number 2. Get your brain out of the rut by considering ideas without considering their practicality. Because sometimes when we offer a solution, it's a solution that we've thought of only because there's a way to get there, or there is a process, or there are resources available to get that underway. We don't even know if the solution is going to work, but we do know that we have this to work with. But this is, imagine outlandish solutions. Considering ideas without considering their practicality. If you allow yourself to think without confinement, you might come up with a solution that seems totally inappropriate, but it also allows you to open up the process, which will eventually lead to appropriate solutions. Good stuff. Number 4, Doodle. That's right, Doodle. The thing you got in trouble for in middle school is actually quite stimulating to the brain, because the way you think while doodling is quite different from the way you think while creating a flow chart or writing a formula. Your doodles might end up looking like some symbol that will trigger your brain to think of an alternative solution. Doodling wakes up a different part of your brain. Why? Because you're not always doodling. Try creating your flow chart to success. It doesn't matter if it ends up being accurate or not. What matters is that it's stimulating the creative thought process. Once you awaken that creative part of you, you'll be amazed at the opportunities that were always there, ones you never saw before. It's all a matter of how you look at life and opportunities. So, again, that goes to how we view things. What filter are we using, or what filter are we ridding ourselves of to be able to see things from a new perspective? Being empathetic and seeing things through someone else's eyes gives you a different perspective. Doodling opens up the creative side of your brain, giving you a perspective that you may not be thinking of if you're always stringent with your thought process. Number 5, access the information highway. You need to start networking with people whom you'd otherwise never meet. I've been thinking recently of joining a couple of groups just to open my, like, the breadth of people that I associate with. Different experiences, different thought process, different viewpoints, to kind of stir up the pot inside me, you know? And that makes sense. Number 6, commit yourself to learning. Feed your mind, the caterpillar said. Feed your mind. Sharpen your interest in 2 major subjects, life and people. Learn how you can better interact with others. Learn more on how to get the most from life. Learn all that you can so that you can become all that you can become. Love it. It's got a little list here. It says, learning is the beginning of a life worth living. Learning is the beginning of wealth. Learning is the beginning of happiness. Learning is the beginning of health. Learning and searching is where the process of creating your own personal miracle begins. Learning is the beginning of self-enterprise. Keep learning. Wow, what a great article. The article is 6 Ways to Act on Your Ambition by Jim Rohn. Man, talk about leaving a legacy and a mark on the world and a life lived to make a difference. Jim Rohn. The 6 things, by the way, let's go back to the 2 very important rules about affirmations. No, we should never allow affirmation to replace action, activity, and enterprise. Feeling better is no substitute for doing better. Number 2, whatever we choose to affirm must be the truth. If the truth happens to be that we're broke, simply say, I'm broke. By admitting you're broke out loud, you'll probably be disgusted enough to start the thinking process for how to change it. What is holding you back? Affirm it. Say it. Disgust yourself by it. Spur yourself into getting things done. All right. The 6 steps to build the power of your ambition, to act on your ambition. Number 1, if you're faced with a mental roadblock, put it down on paper. Got so many journals. And the 3 questions you have to ask yourself are, what can I do? What could I read? Who could I ask? Number 2, develop the ability to brainstorm. Oh, that's a great one. Number 3, imagine outlandish solutions. Number 4, doodle to open up your creativity. Number 5, access the information highway, networking with people whom you'd otherwise never meet. And number 6, commit yourself to learning. Learning is the beginning of a life worth living. Learning is the beginning of self-enterprise. Keep learning. Knowledge is power, I say. Imagination is king. Ooh, that brainstorming. Intelligence your weapon. Read a good book today. Enrich your mind. Leaders are readers. And above all, take action. I wish some things for you today. I wish for you to free your mind. I wish for you to feed your mind. I wish for you to affirm something in your life today that will empower you, and I wish for you to affirm something in your life today that will disgust you and lead you and force you to take action. I also wish you joy, success, and happiness. And I wish you well. Have yourself a wonderful weekend. A wonderful Friday, too. I hope to be back on Monday. Planning on 8 a.m., but we'll see. And we'll see how it plays out. I'll put the link on the comments for this article, so I want you to enjoy. So until next time, we'll be talking.